Hey, welcome back to another episode of Whiskey Row. My name is David. Welcome to the channel if it's your first time here. If you would be so kind to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, only if you want to and only if this video deserves it. But just think about it while you watch this video. Now, I've got 5 whiskeys that we're going to be talking about today, and these are the 5 whiskeys that I'm really enjoying right now at each price point. Now, I broke this down into 5 different categories of price point. We're going to go a $25, a $45, a $65, a $100, and over that. So, what am I drinking? What am I enjoying right now? First off, I am enjoying a Buffalo Trace. This is a Buffalo Trace store pick. This one came from, where's that, Red Man? I honestly don't know where this came from. I can't read that at all. And it's not my fault. It's not just my vision. It's actually, this is very, very hard to read. You should have done a better logo where you'd have gotten a cool shout out on Whiskey Row. Nevertheless, 90 proof. It's a great sipper, great, delicious whiskey that I really do enjoy. Where I'm finding that I love Buffalo Trace and the store picks even is when I want a really nice old fashioned. Now, Papa Joe, a great supporter, longtime supporter of the channel, got me onto using these in my old fashions along with stevia instead of simple syrup or some other sugar sweetener. Throw an orange peel in there, throw a little bit of Angostura bitters, throw in a stevia packet, and splash in some of that. Then put on a big rock, and you're good to go. It's really, really, really good. I promise you, it's a great, great old fashioned. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit more about this particular whiskey. As you would expect from Buffalo Trace, there is a very, very nice berry note. On Buffalo Trace, it's not as pronounced as it is on some of their nicer and older, more aged kind of stuff and higher proof stuff. But still, it's a subtle berry, nice little counterbalance of oak. It's just to the point where it's no longer young, if that makes sense. It's into, you don't have any kind of a young note on Buffalo Trace. It's just crossed over that. Whereas on some of the benchmarks, you do have some of that youth note, but not on this one. You get a little bit of that Buffalo Trace berryness, but again, it's very muted for this. Little bit of oak, little bit of little viscous mouthfeel. It's kind of thin because it's 90 proof. It's not, you know, it's a $26 bottle. And granted, this is a store pick, and it's probably got a little bit better flavor profile than standard Buffalo Trace. But nevertheless, even standard Buffalo Trace is still a pretty good pour for 26 bucks when you can find it. And granted, store picks are harder to find, and in some places Buffalo Trace is hard to find. So I totally understand if you can't find this, maybe you can find a benchmark, say Bottled in Bond, or a benchmark Top Floor, something like that would be something kind of similar. It's even less expensive and might be a little bit more available. Next up, right around $40, a great, great bourbon that I am really a fan of, and that is 13th Colony Southern Bourbon Whiskey. This comes in at 95 proof. This is, geez, what, my 3rd or 4th bottle of this since we found out about it like 2-3 years ago. So yeah, it's a great sipper for right around $45. If you can't find it in a local store, I know they do sell them online at some of the like Bourbon Outfitters, Seal Box. I believe they have them. So if you're going to order something from there, throw a 13th Colony Southern Bourbon in your cart, and you will not regret it, because this is actually a really, really nice whiskey for $45. This one really kind of bridges the gap to me between a lot of different distillers. I get a teeny bit of Wild Turkey, a teeny bit of Heaven Hill, a teeny bit of like a Bardstown Bourbon Company. It kind of blends all those things together. Predominantly, it's like a peach cobbler, maybe, like a not super sweet peach cobbler. You do get a little bit of that stone fruit, but it combines really, really well with some nice kind of baking goods like pastry crust, and then a little bit of an oak, and a very, very, very mild touch of like an almond extract, something like that. So I think it's a really good whiskey for $45. I think it's one that easily is in the one of my favorite sippers these days, and one that I've actually come back to. I hadn't had it for a while, and I'm starting to really, really enjoy it again. Next up on my list tonight is OCD 5. Now this is something you may or may not have seen. A lot of you that follow the channel, I've talked a lot about this. This was put out by Glens Creek Distilling. They operate out of Kentucky. They run the Old Crow distillery is where they're operated now. This particular one comes in at 104.4 proof. All of the OCD stuff is basically, all of the OCD 5 is basically a single barrel. So they take a unique barrel. When it is ready, they dump it, and you get your barrel number, its proof, and well, the bottle number. This is bottle 6 out of barrel 143, and it is bonkers good. Now, this is coming in right around $65, so it's not, maybe that price range, it's not an everyday sipper for you. Maybe it's a little bit, you know, maybe it's a Friday type pour or something you do on a Friday to celebrate. And it is just such a unique and delicious bourbon. They do things there that, and this isn't their only product. They have a whole bunch of other product. One of the other ones that Jamie and I both love is called Cafe Au Lait. It's fantastic. Again, right around $60, $65. The nose is caramel, buttercream, pancakes, and a little bit of toffee. You get a touch of coffee, which is really interesting and unique. And then there's just tons of buttercream, a little bit of yellow cake in there, some rum raisin, almost ice cream. It is one that I have really, really come to appreciate and love. And right around $65, it's kind of a special pour for most people these days. And I can't fault you. You know, I don't want to drink this one too fast because it's such a special bottle. But each of the bottles that I've had from OCD have been good. You know, slight differences barrel to barrel, but I haven't found one that I didn't like. I think the last time that I did one of these videos, a Nashville Barrel Company pick was actually in that video. Well, we've got another one. This is our next pick. It hasn't come out yet. It's coming out hopefully later this week, if not the next. But this is Whiskey Row #2 from Nashville Barrel Company. It is an 8-year MGP sourced bourbon coming in at 123.82 proof. But our pick that we did with NBC earlier this year was essentially a 1-year younger version of this. Same barrel series. The barrels have just aged into the 8-year range now, and they've jumped in proof. Our last one was almost 10 proof points less than this one. And this one is, in my opinion, night and day better than our last one. And our last one I thought was like an E.H. Taylor, you know, single barrel E.H. Taylor small batch comparison bottle. This is better than that. It's, again, proofier. It's oakier. It's the fruits are still there and bursting, but they're not quite as bright. They're a little bit more stewy and a little bit more well done. Tons of brown sugars, caramel, a little bit of kind of like a creme brulee, all poured over like some nice cooked berries. It's beautiful. I love it. This is actually our second bottle since we did the pick a couple weeks ago. We've already gone through one bottle. I just had to open up this one for filming today because we finished the last one. And again, coming out. So if you're interested in this, check out our Patreon community at patreon.com/whiskeyrow. If you are interested in getting your hands on this, we got about 150 bottles that'll be coming to the community here very, very shortly. And if you don't want to join our community, you want to support somebody else on WhiskeyTube, that's totally cool. Some other people have done picks with NBC, other channels, and their picks are pretty friggin' good. Most of the picks that I have had from NBC have all been pretty stellar. I'm partial to ours because they fit my flavor profile a little bit better. However, all the ones that I've had have been good. I probably should have said this earlier since we're breaking this into other categories, but this is actually coming right around that $100 price range. Most of the NBC picks, these 8-year MGPs are coming right around the 100, 110, 120 price range. So, you know, we're talking low 100s for this. Now, this next one, I'm a little bit surprised by, frankly. So every now and then, you know, distilleries will reach out to us and want to send us a free sample or a free bottle or whatever. And then there's no kind of agreement. They're just like, hey, you know, we want you to have this. If you want to talk about it, great. If not, just try it. Let us know your thoughts. We love feedback, etc., etc. So I got this one not too long ago. Actually, Jamie and I got this not too long ago. It was addressed to both of us. But this is a Westward Whiskey Milestone American Single Malt. Now, many of you will know that I don't have a tremendously great relationship with American single malts. I love Scotch. I love Irish whiskey, not as much as I love bourbon or even American rye. But I haven't loved a lot of the American single malts. However, this was a little bit different. It comes in this great presentation box. And again, I'm not getting paid for this, but you know, we are, you know, holidays are coming up, and if you're looking to buy a gift for somebody, it might be particularly if they like single malt Scotch, single malt whiskey, and if they like interesting stuff, and they're a bourbon lover, this might be for you. Now, let me pour some up and tell you about it. Comes in this cool looking bottle, presentations, all that's good, but honestly, the presentation doesn't matter if what you're drinking isn't good. So let's throw that back on there. That is a monster of a bottle topper. Jeez Louise. On the nose, this is like a chocolate strawberry milkshake, and that's what really, really got my attention. That's the first thing that came to mind when I smelled it. I mean, there's a little bit of a honeysuckle, and then it goes straight into like a berry milkshake. with chocolate, lots of chocolate. There is kind of this like raisin rum cake thing going on. There is a little bit of a maltiness like you would expect from an American single malt, but it's not terribly pronounced. But it has this interesting like stewed berry, stewed apricot kind of thing on the palate. Like I said, kind of a raisiny, plummy apricot thing. I do get a super creamy, nice mouthfeel. And it really kind of bridges the gap between a good bourbon and a good scotch. It doesn't have any of those medicinal or iron, you know, the iodine type notes that you get on some scotches. I don't get any of that. But there's a little maltiness. But that creamy berry chocolate milkshake thing is just fantastic. Now this is, you know, this is the premium bottle in the lineup tonight. But already just got it, and already I've gone through quite a bit for something that I literally just opened the other day. But it's one of mine that I am intrigued by, and it's one of my current go-tos, but it is in the pricier category. I think retail on its MSRP is like $250. I don't know what they're showing up for in stores, because again, this was sent to me. I didn't have to pay for it, so it's hard for me to say, but the presentation and the quality of the whiskey in the glass was surprising to say the least. But the nose on this, I could just smell this forever because it's so interesting and unique, and it's kind of different from a traditional bourbon, obviously. But if you're a bourbon lover, oh, a little bit of a pear note on that one. So this is a milestone edition. This is second edition. I never tried the first edition, so I don't know if that one's any good or not. But this second edition that we just got our hands on is really solid. These are my current 5 go-to bourbons at each price point: 25, 26, 45 to 48, 65, 100 to 110, maybe 15, 20, and 200-ish. I don't know exactly what it is, but regardless of your budget, obviously this is a special occasion pour, but it's super unique and interesting. This is definitely a celebration style pour at the $100 price range. This could be a Friday sipper at the end of the week. This could be a start of the night sipper and then go down to a Buffalo Trace, or even, and there's other options in the 25 range that are also great whiskeys. So anyway, these are some of my favorite go-tos right now at each price point. What are some of yours? Please leave a comment below. Let me know what are some of your favorites at some of these price points. And until next time, find a bottle you love.